London on 14:58 AM and DAB. Winner of Radio Station of the Year at the Asian Media Awards. This is your Lyca Radio.
On the Sky News Centre at 9. Former Conservative Party chairman Jake Berry says he made Rishi Sunak aware of bullying allegations against Gavin Williamson before his return to the cabinet. The ex-education secretary is accused of sending threatening messages to a colleague about not being invited to the Queen's funeral. He's said to have used expletives. Oliver Dowden works with him and says he regrets the use of language.
These were sent in the heat of the moment, expressing frustration. It was a difficult time for the party. I think he now accepts that he shouldn't have done it.
Opposition parties want Gavin Williamson gone. The UK could see its first national nurses strike over pay in a few weeks. Votes are still being counted, but the RCN union says it's confident members will vote for action. Here's our correspondent, Aisha Zahid.
Sources suggest that there are enough numbers, and if the strike action does happen, it may well be around Christmas time. Now, we don't know how many people it will affect, but we do know that it will pertain to a local level.
Rishi Sunak has sworn to get the UK off polluting fossil fuels and on to cleaner power. He'll address world leaders at the COP27 climate summit in Egypt tomorrow. Sport England World Cup hopeful Ivan Toney is reportedly being investigated over historical allegations he gambled on football. The Brentford striker says he's assisting officials. Meanwhile, James Maddison says he hopes he caught Gareth Southgate's eye as he starred in Leicester's 2-0 win at Everton in the Premier League.
Well, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't in my mind, because the World Cup's nearly here and playing at a major competition for your country would be the best thing ever, and it's the pinnacle of what you aim for.
Manchester City beat Fulham 2-1 to go top of the table, while Leeds won 4-3 against Brentford. Scottish Premiership leaders Celtic beat Dundee United 4-2. And standard Glastonbury tickets have just gone on sale, but you'll have to be quick. Coach packages sold out in just 23 minutes on Thursday. That's the latest. I'm Anna Bates.
This Remembrance. Discover your family's wartime story with a 14-day free trial with Ancestry. Explore millions of records from the home front to the front line, from the 1700s right up to the world wars. Learn about the part your family played in history and ensure their memory lives on. Start uncovering your family story today and bring your backstory to life with Ancestry. Free trial terms apply.
Winner of Radio Station of the Year at the Asian Media Awards 2022.
Lyca Radio, London.
Lyca Radio Weather is brought to you by TravelUp.com. Our lowest prices are guaranteed only when you book directly through TravelUp.com or call 0207 580 5000.
Today's weather: light rain showers and gentle breeze. In London and surrounding areas, top temperature 14 centigrade. Sunset is at 4:25 p.m.
Weather was brought to you by TravelUp.com. Our lowest prices are guaranteed only when you book directly through TravelUp.com.
Lyca Radio.
Talking Points with Keith Vaz, celebrating diversity. Lyca, London.
Lyca Radio.
Good morning and welcome to the 135th edition of Talking Points on Lyca Radio with me, Keith Vaz. Thank you, Priyanka, for a great show. Happy birthday this week to Abhishek Lodha. There are now only 14 days left until the first match of the World Cup in Doha in Qatar, and if you're counting, 49 days left until Christmas. This is a special edition of Talking Points, commemorating a very important event in the history of the Asian community. I will tell you more about that slightly later. The migration crisis continues. The government announced that the majority of people coming in small boats into the United Kingdom were not from the Far East as suspected or from Africa, but 40,000 people arrived from Albania last year. According to the government spokesman, drug gangs are using the migrant camp of northern France as a recruitment ground, offering to pay the passage of those who are prepared to work in the United Kingdom's drug industry. Former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, was shot this week while leading a march from Lahore to the capital Islamabad to demand snap snap elections. He was shot in the leg. He's now safe and stable. The attack has been viewed by his allies as an assassination attempt. In a shocking incident in Morbi, Gujarat, over 134 people died after a suspension bridge collapsed. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has visited the town of Morbi in his home state of Gujarat to see for himself the site of the bridge collapse. As I mentioned to you earlier, this is a special edition of Talking Points, commemorating the 80th anniversary of the sinking of the SS Tilawa, a tragedy which occurred in 1942, an accident that has been described as the forgotten event. I hope that in this special programme, we will remember what happened on the 23rd of November 1942, honour the heroes, but also commemorate the lives of people who have died. My special guest, therefore, on the programme is Emile Solanki, an executive of one of Canada's oldest insurance companies, who is the leading inspiration behind the SS Tilawa campaign. We will be talking to him and other people who are connected. From Canada, we'll be travelling to East London to speak to Pravin Jivan, who is the president of one of the local community organisations there. We'll be talking to him about the stories of his father, Rt Jivan, who survived the Tilawa tragedy aged 36. We're then off to South East London, where we'll be joined by Bina Jani, the daughter of Arvindbhai Jani, who was also known as the last survivor of the tragedy. We'll be talking to her about her father's experience. After all, he only survived aged 3. Others who lost their lives include Vallabhbhai Nathubai Patel. Many people, therefore, still affected by this tragedy, even though it happened so many years ago. Before we talk to these people about their recollections of that day and their families' recollections, let's hear some music.
का
Talking Points with Keith Vaz, celebrating diversity. Lyca, London.
Welcome back. This is Keith Vaz on Talking Points on Lyca Radio. I hope you enjoyed the music. As I said earlier, this is a special edition of Talking Points dedicated to those affected by the SS Tilawa, the forgotten tragedy. On the 23rd of November 2022, the 80th anniversary of this tragic incident will be commemorated in Mumbai, India. My first guest on the programme is Emile Solanki, who has been the international inspiration behind this campaign. Born in South London to Gujarati immigrants from Uganda, they relocated to Leicester in the 1960s. Emile is 35 years of age and currently employed as an account executive at one of Canada's oldest insurance companies, specialising in wealth management strategies. What made him get involved in this campaign? Well, let's ask him. Let's go over to Toronto in Canada and talk to Emile Solanki. Good morning, Emile.
Hello, Keith. Good morning to you too. Greetings from Toronto, and thanks for having me on your show.
Now, this commemoration would not be taking place without you. Everyone acknowledges that. But how did you first get involved in this campaign?
Well, back in 2007, we learnt of the tragedy, talking to my grandfather, and we also then realized that there was a passenger list connected to SS Tilawa that my great-grandfather actually, sadly, where he lost his life. And so that really was the beginning of us trying to figure out what happened, why did it happen, what was the impact on hundreds of families in South Africa, India, and the UK, and what more could we do to provide a comprehensive resource online to many affected by this tragedy.
Now, obviously, people know of the Titanic and the sinking of the Titanic and people who died. You know, it's legendary. But that was a mistake. That was somebody who had, the captain had gone and hit an iceberg. This is something that was done by the Japanese against innocent people. Tell us very briefly exactly what happened on the night that SS Tilawa was sunk.
So SS Tilawa left on November 20th from the Ballard Pier in South Bombay, and it was actually carrying over 900 people, and mostly Indian nationals. Actually, many were Gujarati from the state of Gujarat, and they were on their way to East Africa to, make a better life for themselves. There was also 60 tons of bullion, believe it or not, and 2 days later, the Japanese, on November 23rd, around 1 in the morning, I think it was, they fired a torpedo onto the ship. There was a gap of about 60 to 90 minutes. We're not quite sure what happened in that time, but then they fired a second torpedo, and that's what sunk the ship.
You have been involved in this. You've put a lot of passion, a lot of energy. I know from the emails and the letters I get from you. Do you think that the anniversary will bring together people who you did not know were associated with SS Tilawa? Because obviously we're publicising, as you have been, what's going on there. Are you confident that all those attending this commemorative event in Mumbai will be known to you?
That's a really nice question, Keith, because when I first spoke to you and you actually asked me, have you met any of the other families? And the answer was no. And, since the spring of this year, using technology, the internet and social media, I've actually met 6 families in South Africa who either had parents or grandparents who either lost their lives or survived. And believe it or not, 4 families in the UK, 2 of them actually from South London, near where I used to play cricket and go to school.
This is Keith Vaz on Talking Points on Lyca Radio. I'm talking to the international campaigner Emile Solanki, the person who really has reminded us about the tragedy of the sinking of the SS Tilawa and is commemorating this with an 80th anniversary event in Mumbai. When we come back, we're going to be talking about exactly what's going to happen in Mumbai. Join us after the break.
गल कर ले प्यार मेरे नाल कर ले काम सारे पल कर ले मेरे यार तू मेरी बाहों बाहों फड़ ले आंखें ये आ पढ़ ले सीने से दिल कढ़ ले मेरे यार कितना सोना लगदा है तू लगदी हूँ मैं तेरी मेरी जोड़ी थोड़े लग दे कितना सोना लगदा है तू लगदी हूँ मैं तेरी मेरी जोड़ी थोड़े लग दे कितना सोना लगदा है
दुनिया से आजा कह दूं देख तेनू अख नहीं थकदा तेरे जैसा कोई मैंने नहीं जचदा दिल मेरा चाहे तुझे कहने को I love you
कितना सोना लगदा है तू लगदी हूँ मैं तेरी मेरी जोड़ी थोड़े लग दे The drop जाए ना तोरी तेरी मैं हूँ मेरा बस तू दिल का ठिकाना तू है चैन का बहाना तू है तू ही है जिसे मैं चाहूँ
कितना सोना लगदी है तू कितना सोना लगदा है
तेरी मेरी जोड़ी थोड़े लग दे कितना सोना लगदा है तू लगदी हूँ मैं तेरी मेरी जोड़ी थोड़े लग दे कितना सोना लगदा है तू लगदी हूँ मैं तेरी मेरी जोड़ी थोड़े लग दे कितना सोना लगदा है तू लगदी हूँ मैं
London's biggest Asian hit Lyca Radio
सस्ती से सस्ती फ्लाइट्स और हॉलिडे पैकेज चाहिए तो 24 घंटे 7 दिन किसी भी समय ट्रैवल हब का नंबर मिलाइए फॉर क्रूज टेलर मेड हॉलिडे होटल बुकिंग्स एंड हनीमून पैकेजेस हमसे सस्ता कहीं नहीं मिल सकता कॉल ट्रैवल हब 24/7 on 0208-782-8833 or visit travelhubltd.co.uk.
Travel Hub, best service with unbeatable price.
At all protected.
Visit travelhubltd.co.uk.
Haldiram wishes you a very happy Diwali and brings you the most loved Indian sweets which are freshly made in UK. Now order your favorite Haldiram products online only on haldiramuk.com. Also available at your local Asian store at super special prices.
इस कड़कड़ाती ठंड में एक बढ़िया कड़क गर्मा गर्म चाय मिल जाए तो आए हाय मजा आ जाए।
अरे समझो हो गया, रॉयल चाय है ना अब भी बन जाएगी। सिर्फ पैकेट खोलो और गर्म पानी में घोल लो, चाय तैयार, वो भी रॉयल टेस्ट के साथ। रॉयल चाय झटपट कहीं भी कभी भी।
व्हाइट हिल स्टूडियोज लेके आए ने अखियां दे दंगे ते प्यार दे रंगां च रंगे मक्खन सिंह दी रोमांटिक कॉमेडी लव स्टोरी ओए मक्खना।
पिछले दिनों तो तक रहा है चेहरा खाली।
नंबर बोली ताड़ा ओ मैं ट्रू कलर ते झाड़ के ताड़ा ना चेक करना है।
वधिया ट्राई है पर किसे होर कुड़ी ते मारी।
ओए मक्खना स्टारिंग एमी विर्क, तानिया, गुग्गू गिल एंड सिद्धिका शर्मा। ओए मक्खना 4 नवंबर तो तुहाडे नजदीकी सिनेमा घरां च। For more info visit whitehillstudios.com.
This is a message for every household in the UK. Everyone is entitled to government help with the cost of living. At gov.uk/help for households, you'll find over 40 different support schemes in one place. From help with energy bills to childcare costs, housing, transport, and more. Help is available now for every household. See what you're eligible for at gov.uk/help for households.
Bollywood's iconic film Disco Dancer comes alive on stage.
I am a disco dancer.
Take yourself back to the disco era of the 80s with live singing, retro costumes, elaborate dance sequences and English dialogues. November 16th to the 20th at Sadler's Wells Theatre, London. Book your tickets now at sadlerswells.com and log on to lycaradio.com and click on the banner to purchase tickets. Exclusive radio partner, Lyca Radio and Lyca Gold. Time to invest in your child's future is now. KSG Learning Tuition specializes in English, maths and science tuition from reception to GCSEs. Conducted by certified tutors delivering both online and at the centre located in Cranford, Bath Road, TW5 9WA. To book your free lesson, visit www.ksglearning.com.
K Furniture's huge stock sale is now on. Save up to 70% on sofas, dining, beds, bedroom, living and lounge furniture. All available for immediate delivery, only while stocks last. Visit K Furniture showrooms in Cricklewood, Harrow, Hatch End and Hayes. Hurry, when it's gone, it's gone. kfurniture.co.uk. Quality furniture at unbeatable prices.
The personalities that matter with Keith Vaz on Talking Points.
Lyca Radio.
Welcome back. This is Keith Vaz on Talking Points on Lyca Radio. I'm having a fascinating conversation with Emile Solanki about the SS Tilawa, the forgotten tragedy, as he and others have called it. Emile, you've got this event in Mumbai. It's coming up very shortly. People are coming from all over the world. Tell us exactly what's going to happen. Say, I've decided to come and join you. What's actually going to happen at the event?
Well, we decided to have the commemoration at the Grand Hotel at the Ballard Estate in Mumbai. And the reason is because Tilawa actually left there for the first time and the survivors were brought back to the Ballard Pier by HMS Birmingham. The Grand Hotel, such a historic, iconic place, was in use during the Second World War and they were able to accommodate us. So that's where it's going to be on Wednesday, November 23rd, the date of the anniversary. We have families, of course, connected to the tragedy, including Mr. Arvindbhai Jani from South London, now 83 years old. He is the last known survivor. There will be interviews during the program. There'll be a keynote address. You'll be pleased to know that the British Deputy High Commissioner Alan Gemmell, located in Mumbai, has accepted our invitation to attend.
We will be talking to a number of the relatives of the survivors of the SS Tilawa. We're going to be talking to Bina Jani, who is the daughter of Arvindbhai Jani, who was only 3 years of age when his mother saved his life from the tragedy that was ongoing there. Some of us obviously are not going to be able to make it. How do we keep this event alive? In what way can we help? We can't get to Mumbai for the commemoration. It's a big, big commemoration. How do we keep involved in this? How would you like to see us involved?
There's a couple of ways, Keith. Number one, we have our website, tilawa1942.com. So whenever anyone has any information, they can go onto that website and they can contact us. We have an active presence on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And of course, if anybody knows any documentary makers, movie producers and whatnot, that would be very, very helpful to us. If anybody has access to historical archives, that also would be of great interest to us. And we hope, all going well, that we'll be able to stream the program as well.
Emile Solanki, you have lived with this campaign for a number of years. I know that you poured your heart and soul into it. This is a big event for you, and you have reminded us about this tragedy. I think people now will look back on that era when the Second World War is, long gone, and people don't just remember it for the commemorations, and now start to commemorate those who lost their lives innocently as a result of what has happened. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today. Before we end, I want to ask just a quick question about technology and how do we get the technological know-how to remember what has happened in the past? What do you think the role of technology, and in particular social media, is in trying to get this message across about what has happened?
Technology is huge, Keith. Without the internet, we wouldn't have seen the passenger list provided by the SS Tilawa Foundation in South Africa in 2007. Without technology, we would not be able to connect with families around the world or access Indian Samaj community groups. Without websites that provide war diaries and historic archives, again, we would have very little information. And, for the next generation, Keith, when it comes to taking the initiative and having an appreciation for the older generation who are sadly now, dying off and leaving us, technology is a wonderful thing to preserve the past and then to make it available to others. And I think that's where the government could really help us with providing more easier access to even their sites.
Emile Solanki, we always ask our special guests to choose a song that means something special to them and to dedicate it to someone special. Which song would you like to choose and to whom would you like to dedicate it to?
Well, I think the reason why I got into this Tilawa 1942 project was a father-son initiative, and not just with my father, Kash Kumar, but also his father and his grandfather who died during the tragedy. So how about we go to the movie Qayamat Se Qayamat. The song is Papa Kehte Hai. It was sung by Udit Narayan, and it can also be dedicated to all of the fathers listening on your show, including you, Keith.
That's very good of you. Emile, thank you for being the inspiration behind this campaign. We hardly ever dedicate a whole program to one particular event, but your work demonstrates the importance of remembering moving forward, but also having those if only moments as tragedies of this kind remind us about. Thank you for joining us, and the best of luck for your event in November.
Thank you, Keith, for your generosity and for being the first person to give us an opportunity to share this with your London listeners.
Let's hear Emile Solanki's song.
आज कॉलेज का आखिरी दिन है और आने वाली जिंदगी के लिए सभी ने कुछ न कुछ सोच रखा है, लेकिन मैंने अपने लिए कुछ नहीं सोचा है। No, really, I mean it। और आज मुझे बार-बार एक ही ख्याल आ रहा है। पापा कहते हैं बड़ा नाम करेगा, बेटा हमारा ऐसा काम करेगा, मगर ये तो कोई न जाने कि मेरी मंजिल है कहाँ। पापा कहते हैं बड़ा नाम करेगा, बेटा हमारा ऐसा काम करेगा, मगर ये तो कोई न जाने कि मेरी मंजिल है कहाँ। पापा कहते हैं बड़ा नाम करेगा। बैठे हैं मिलके सब यार अपने, सबके दिलों में अरमा ये है। बैठे हैं मिलके सब यार अपने, सबके दिलों में
बनेगा हर एक नजर का सपना ये है कोई इंजीनियर का काम करेगा बिजनेस में कोई अपना नाम करेगा मगर ये तो कोई न जाने कि मेरी मंजिल है कहाँ पापा कहते हैं बड़ा नाम करेगा मेरा तो सपना है एक चेहरा देखे जो उसको झूमे बाहर मेरा तो सपना है एक चेहरा देखे जो उसको झूमे बाहर गालों में खिलती कलियों का मौसम आँखों में जादू होठों में प्यार बंदा ये खूबसूरत काम करेगा दिल की दुनिया में अपना नाम करेगा मेरी नजर से देखो तो यारो कि मेरी मंजिल है कहाँ पापा कहते हैं बड़ा नाम करेगा
Keith Vaz on Talking Points. Lyca
Radio.
Flight updates are brought to you by TravelUp.com. Flights, hotels and holidays.
Let's go for a flight update. All flights are as scheduled, but please check with your flight operators before heading to the airport.
Flight updates were brought to you by TravelUp.com. Lowest prices are guaranteed only when you book directly through TravelUp.com. Call 0207 580 5000.
Lyca Radio.
Traffic and travel.
I'm Paula Brett. A couple of slow spots for the M4. The Heathrow Spur Road southbound struggling first of all, just before the tunnels as you head into the terminals. The eastbound M4 is down to one lane over the elevated section through the roadworks. That's causing delays between the Heston services and Junction 1 for the Chiswick roundabout. Stanwell Road westbound in Bedfont is partially blocked. There's been an accident at the junction for the A30 Great South West Road. The traffic lights there are out of action as well. And because of engineering works today, there's no service for the Piccadilly line between Acton Town and Uxbridge. Buses replace trains between Acton Town and Rayners Lane. And that's the latest traffic and travel.
There's services in 1 mile or 40 miles.
Let's stop.
Seriously?
We can stop.
But you always say you want to press on.
Do I?
Do you say we can make it to the next one and then you keep on driving until we are like dying of thirst and our bladders are exploding?
Yeah, but Costa coffees are £1 at Shell on a Friday. So I say we stop at both of them.
Coffees are £1 this Friday at Shell Costa Express machines. Because Fridays are a big deal at Costa Coffee. Subject to availability at Costa Express machines at selected Shell sites. Terms and conditions at costa.co.uk.
This is Lyca Radio.
Planning to travel? Cover your trip with Holiday Risk Worldwide Travel Insurance. Our policies cover COVID if you test positive before your trip and need to cancel. 24 hours medical assistance abroad, personal belongings, gadget cover and much more. T's and C's apply. Holiday Risk is regulated by the FCA. We've got you covered. Competitive prices online. Book now at holidayrisk.com. Are you covered?
पब्लिक की जोरदार डिमांड पर मोस्ट रोमांटिक इवनिंग इज बैक. कड़क चाय पेश करते हैं इश्क करो, एन इवनिंग ऑफ गजल्स बाय तौसीफ अख्तर. संडे 13 नवंबर को हेज के बैक थिएटर में. पावर्ड बाय B4U म्यूजिक. टिकट्स फ्रॉम £15 फॉर सीट्स बुकिंग. प्लीज विजिट backtheatre.org.uk और कॉल 07850 742 TV partners B4U Movies, radio partner Lyca Radio and Lyca Gold. Ishq Karo by Tausif Akhtar, brought to you by Samara Events UK.
COVID-19 and flu spread more quickly in winter and can both cause serious illness. Protection provided by COVID-19 vaccines decreases over time. So if you're over 50, in an at-risk group, or pregnant, boost your immunity now. And because flu viruses can change every year, many adults and children can also get a free flu vaccine. Vaccines are your best protection, even if you've had COVID-19 or flu. Find out if you're eligible at nhs.uk and book now.
Hasu World now provides flight tickets to all the destinations as well as fit-to-fly RT-PCR tests. Visit hasuworld.com or call 0300 124 6500 for exclusive flight rates at all protected.
Z Studios and Bayview Projects present.
My name is Millie Nordial. Can I take your order, please?
मिली नाम की लड़की रात से मिसिंग है. लड़की की जान को खतरा हो सकता है.
Millie, a chilling tale of survival starring Janvi Kapoor. 4 नवंबर तो ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਜ਼ਦੀਕੀ ਸਿਨੇਮਾ ਘਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ. Millie.
Time to invest in your child's future is now. KSG Learning Tuition specializes in English, Maths and Science tuition from reception to GCSEs. Conducted by certified tutors delivering both online and at the centre located in Cranford, Bath Road, TW5 9WA. To book your free lesson, visit www.ksglearning.com.
As the cost of living is rising, your earnings need to do as well. SBI UK has got great news for your savings. SBI UK Instant Access Savings Account can earn you 1.2% with flexible access of your deposits. And if you go for fixed deposits, then your savings can earn you up to 4.75%. Terms and conditions apply. For more details, visit sbiuk.com. SBI UK is serving the customers in the UK for over 100 years now. SBI UK is regulated by the FCA and the PRA.
Lyca Mobile is here to support you during these testing times. Get endless data, UK calls and texts, and 100 international minutes with Lyca Mobile Go Endless Bundle with a bumper discount of £15 a month. EU roaming included. Please visit lycamobile.co.uk to buy yours today. This is a limited time offer for new customers only. T's and C's apply. Lyca Mobile.
Talking Points with Keith Vaz, celebrating diversity. Lyca, London.
Welcome back. This is Keith Vaz on Talking Points on Lyca Radio. As you know, the whole programme today is dedicated to the memory of those who lost their lives during the Tilawa tragedy. It's the 80th anniversary. This is big news in so many countries, in the diaspora community, in Canada, in London, but of course in particular in India. My next guest on the programme is Pravin Jivan, who is the president of the Gujarati Dirijji community of the UK, and they're based in North London. His father, Rt Jivan, survived the Tilawa tragedy, and we will talk to him about how he remembers this particular story. How did it affect his life? Let's go over to Walthamstow and talk to Pravin Jivan. Good morning, Pravin.
Hi, good morning, kids. Thank you very much.
Pravin, your father was 36 years of age when the SS Tilawa was torpedoed by the Japanese submarine near the Seychelles Islands. How did you find out about this particular story?
My father always used to narrate about these stories so many times when relatives come or all have relived, me and my brothers have relived this experience all our life.
It's an amazing story because he survived the torpedoing by the Japanese of this submarine.
Yes.
I understand your dad could not swim, but he helped other passengers to pull them up from the water. That was not only dangerous, but was very brave. So he was one of the heroes of the Tilawa tragedy.
Yes.
He was obviously a hero to you. Were you amazed that your dad was part of this incredible experience?
Of course. Every time we listened to him, it was very fascinating. And all of my life, I considered him my hero. What happened in the fatal night of 23rd November 1942, around midnight, my father woke up. There was a big noise and people were screaming and there was a chaos on the ship. The ship was split into two. My father with my uncle put their life jacket. Since my father didn't know how to swim, he wandered around from deck to deck. On the top deck where the cabins were located, he heard people screaming. The locks of the cabin was jammed due to the impact of the torpedo. He got hold of the fire axe and started breaking the door. He managed to break 2 doors, but because it took too long to open the doors, in the panic, he left and went to another level where he saw a crew member making a raft. And he pushed the raft into the ocean. My father saw this opportunity and jumped into the water. At first, he went right under the water, but because he was wearing a life jacket, he came up. Luckily, the raft was at his arm length, and with the difficulty, he managed to climb into the raft. He was by his own. So he saw people swimming in desperation, and my father pulled them one by one onto the raft, and he nearly pulled 20 people on the raft. It's only after 2 days there was a rescue by SS Birmingham. So not only he saved himself, but he actually saved 20 people with him.
Well, it sounds like an incredible achievement. We've heard earlier from Emile Solanki, who has been spearheading the 80th anniversary celebrations, who has been spearheading the 80th anniversary commemorations. Do you think, looking back at this, that the Japanese government should apologize for what happened? Or do you think it just should be left as it is?
I think there should be some statement from Japanese embassy, and I have written to them asking for some statement, either in apology or some sort of saying that they were involved in this thing, because all the newspaper and all the website indicates the Japanese were torpedoing this ship. So I've written to them. I'm waiting for their answer.
Pravin Jivan, thank you so much for joining us this morning to help us just look through the eyes of history and see what happened on that day, and remembering your hero, your father, your dad, who saved so many lives during this tragedy. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Keith, for having me on this program today, and best wishes to all the listeners of Lyca Radio. Thank you.
तेरी क्रेजी ढोलक ते मैं तां नचदे नचदे आईयां तेरी गली दे मुंडियां तो मैं तां बचदे आईयां तेरी क्रेजी ढोलक ते मैं तां नचदे नचदे आईयां तेरी गली दे मुंडियां तो मैं तां बचदे आईयां सुरमा करे शैतानी ते दिल ते गोली बारी कर दी लुक तेरी अफगानी नैना दे विच सुरमा करे शैतानी ते दिल ते गोली बारी कर दी लुक तेरी अफगानी दिल नू मेरे दस दिए नागन वर्गी चालनी गुस्से विच की दसिए लगदी है कमालनी तेरी गुत्त ते परांदा तेरा लाल नी काली तेरी गुत्त ते परांदा तेरू तेरा लाली काली मेरी गुत्त ते परांदा मेरा लाली काली तेरी गुत्त ते परांदा तेरा लालनी रूप दी रानी परांदे नु संभाली काली तेरी गुत्त ते परांदा तेरा लाली
Keith Vaz on Talking Points. Lyca.
Welcome back. This is Keith Vaz on Talking Points on Lyca Radio. We're continuing with this very special programme today. The entire programme dedicated to the memory of those who lost their lives in SS Tilawa tragedy off the Seychelles. My next guest on the programme is Bina Jani, the daughter of the last known survivor, Arvindbhai Jani. He was only 3 years old when he was on SS Tilawa, when his mother saved his life. Bina, his daughter, works as an administrator for a tech company, but more importantly, she is a mum to a teenage son and daughter. Let's talk to her about the special journey that her father was on, and let's go over to South East London and talk to her there. Good morning, Bina Jani.
Good morning, Mr. Vaz. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I hope you too are doing well. The last known survivor, who was only 3 years old when the tragedy happened. When did you learn about his remarkable story?
Well, growing up, Dad did used to tell us about this story. He touched on it growing up over the years, about how he was on a ship going from Mumbai to Mombasa, and then how the ship got torpedoed. Lots of lives were lost, but thanks to the quick thinking of my grandma, or the motherly instincts of getting your child out, and just the survival instincts of my grandma. God, she was a strong woman from what I hear. She managed to get them both out and onto the last lifeboat, unbelievably. We did used to try and ask a few questions, but it was difficult because my gran used to find it quite difficult to talk about. So we got sort of information from my aunties and stuff a bit more, but it was just literally touched on over the years growing up. It wasn't anything major we really delved into.
I mean, until recently, you'll have kept this story very private, but you're now willing to share it. What made you decide to share this very painful story with the rest of the world?
It's quite an interesting one, to be honest. So, Dad's obviously 83 years old now. Like I said, he did used to tell us over the years. And I remember one time, he remembered the name of the ship. And I remember going into the Greenwich Maritime Museum and asking them if they had any information on this ship. They had very little information, unfortunately. And so I sort of started doing some delving in, because I love history. I'm a bit of a history geek. And, by now we have the internet. Suddenly found this web page which had been created. This is going a few years back now. And on this web page, there was a survivors list. And I looked down it, and oh my gosh, my heart almost stopped for a second when I saw my bar's name with 3-year-old boy, my dad. It was just wow. And so I had to find out more. So I got in contact with a guy who created the original website, which was in South Africa. And he said they were going to take the site down and then redesign a new one, and he'd be in touch once it happened. So I was quite excited to have found the passenger list. I remember downloading the PDF and saying, oh my God, look at this, this is amazing. And reading all the other survivors' accounts as well. It was just really mind-blowing.
It's very kind of shocking to know that you wouldn't be talking to me today if your dad, as a 3-year-old boy, had not survived that particular tragedy. I mean, later in the month, we got the 80th anniversary. You and your family are going to go to India to mark that moment in history. Would you like to meet? What do you think your dad would like to meet? Would you like to meet any of the other survivors of this tragedy?
Right, so unfortunately, not all of us can go, but my mum and dad are definitely going, and my older sister. I'm one of four. I have 4 children, so the eldest daughter, she's going to be going with mum and dad. Of course, it would be amazing to meet other survivors. We don't know if there are at the moment. No one's come forward. It's such an important story, especially after being connected with Emile Solanki, who's now got the webpage dedicated specifically for the 80th anniversary. He was shocked when I got in contact with him, and he couldn't believe Dad was still alive. And then he told us he was the only known survivor, and we were like, this is just crazy, And the more we spoke about it now with Dad, he's coming out with more and more. It was a really traumatic event for my bar, which is why she hardly spoke about it, even when he used to ask her when he was younger. I think she suffers from PTSD now from the sounds of it. And for years, she always wanted my dad near her all the time. It was a really traumatic event. It was horrible. But thanks to her survival, she made it. And we wouldn't be here if she hadn't made it. We feel so blessed.
It is an amazing story. Absolutely amazing. And Thank you for sharing it with us and for being part of this very special edition of Talking Points. Thank you, Bina Jani.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, and I wish all the listeners of Lyca Radio a happy day.
अभी प्यारा सा चेहरा दिखा है जाने क्या कहूँ उस पे क्या लिखा है गहरा समंदर दिल डूबा जिसमें घायल हुआ मैं उस पल से इसमें नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर है दिल तो बता रे नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर है दिल तो बता रे थे धागे पर पाजी निकला ये हमसे आगे हुआ क्या है हमको इत पल ये दौड़े उत पल ये भागे हो नहीं हो जाए तब न जागे हुआ ये है समझो दिल के मिलते सांचे और खांचे जो है बनाता ऊपर से जाके बत्ती है ना है धूप ना कसूर नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर है दिल तो बता रे नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर है दिल तो बता रे
Punjab National Bank International Limited launches mobile app for personal customers. Whether you want to send money to India or view your latest balance, do that on the go. Simply download our app for free from your mobile app store. Terms and conditions apply. For more details, please visit
www.pnbint.com. Deposit protection from FSCS. Authorised by the PRA and regulated by FCA and PRA.
COVID-19 and flu spread more quickly in winter and can both cause serious illness. Protection provided by COVID-19 vaccines decreases over time. So if you're over 50, in an at-risk group, or pregnant, boost your immunity now. And because flu viruses can change every year, many adults and children can also get a free flu vaccine. Vaccines are your best protection, even if you've had COVID-19 or flu. Find out if you're eligible at nhs.uk and book now.
पब्लिक की जोरदार डिमांड पर मोस्ट रोमांटिक इवनिंग इज बैक कड़क चाय पेश करते हैं इश्क करो एन इवनिंग ऑफ गजल्स बाय तौसीफ अख्तर संडे 13 नवंबर को हेज के बैक थिएटर में पावर्ड बाय B4U म्यूजिक टिकट्स फ्रॉम £15 फॉर सीट्स बुकिंग प्लीज विजिट backtheatre.org.uk और कॉल 07850742143 टीवी partners B4U movies radio partner Lyca Radio and Lyca Gold Ishq Karo by Tausif Akhtar brought to you by Samara Events UK.
Himalaya Carpet's biggest ever sale on flooring ever done, with carpet starting from $3.99 per square metre. All roll stock reduced by 30%. All room size remnants with 70% off. Wooden flooring reduced. Every carpet, vinyl, laminate, flooring, everything is reduced for 1 week only, with branches at Southall, Slough and Hounslow.
Himalayan carpets for low prices. Himalayan carpets.
Z Studio
Studios and Bayview Projects present.
My name is Millie Nordial. Can I take your order, please?
मिली नाम की लड़की रात से मिसिंग है लड़की की जान को खतरा हो सकता है
Millie, a chilling tale of survival starring Janvi Kapoor. 4 नवंबर तो ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਜ਼ਦੀਕੀ ਸਿਨੇਮਾ ਘਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਿਲੀ
K Furniture's huge stock sale is now on. Save up to 70% on sofas, dining, beds, bedroom, living and lounge furniture. All available for immediate delivery, only while stocks last. Visit K Furniture showrooms in Cricklewood, Harrow, Hatch End and Hayes. Hurry, when it's gone, it's gone! kfurniture.co.uk. Quality furniture at unbeatable prices.
श्री गुरु नानक देव जी दे प्रकाश उत्सव ते शुभ मौके ते सीरा कैश एंड कैरी अमृत हाउस हेस सारे सुरतियावां ਨੂੰ ਸੱਦਾ ਦੇਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਮੰਗਲਵਾਰ 8 ਨਵੰਬਰ ਨੂੰ 10 ਵਜੇ ਤੋਂ 5 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ ਲੰਗਰ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਸ਼ ਪੁਰਬ ਦੀ ਲੱਖ ਲੱਖ ਵਧਾਈਆਂ ਸੀਰਾ ਕੈਸ਼ ਐਂਡ ਕੈਰੀ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਅਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਹਾਊਸ ਸਪ੍ਰਿੰਗਫੀਲਡ ਰੋਡ ਹੇਸ ਕਾਲ 0208 569 1112 ਕਾਲ 0208 569 1112
The personalities that matter with Keith Vaz on Talking Points.
Lyca Radio.
Time's up for this week. I hope you enjoyed today's programme. My thanks to all those who were involved in the SS Tilawa campaign. Emile Solanki, Pravin Jivan and Bina Jani. Just 3 of the people we interviewed today. Special thanks to my researcher Jemit, my producer Rina and editor Adam. To end today's programme, we'll be listening to Ye Honsler, which has had over 10 million views on YouTube. A song that talks about hope and the fighting spirit. This song is for all the families of those who lost loved ones on the SS Tilawa. Please stay tuned for the wonderful Sheena, who follows the news at 10 on Lyca Radio, Britain's greatest Asian radio station. This has been Talking Points on Lyca Radio with Keith Vaz, broadcasting from London. I hope you have a great Sunday.
ये हौसला कैसे झुके ये आरज़ू कैसे रुके ये हौसला कैसे झुके ये आरज़ू कैसे रुके मंजिल
across London.